as Nick would say. And the fact that he's interested in securing a second term, to have this vendetta that is not very clear towards the mountain?
First of all, I think, you see, power corrupts the mind because I think the president, for a minute when he sits around, and you see, okay, let me just say it. You see, it's in public domain and it's factual that the president is surrounded by people who did not complete school. So I don't want to use the word illiterate, but it is in public domain and we are all aware of that, because even on the issue of the Butere girls, it's because they could not wrap around their minds what kind of literature that was. And now you can imagine these people, when they think of numbers, they think that they can doctor numbers very easily, and they keep maybe telling the president that, you know what, the 4 million that Mount Kenya can give you is something we can doctor. That is why you are seeing today in our papers, we are being told about citizenship. Suddenly we want to change our laws in terms of citizenship to allow children in the refugees who have been sired by a Kenyan and a refugee to be given citizenship by birth. Why right now? Why not last year? Why not the other year? Secondly, suddenly...
You're trying to say that this is what? Angling for what? Why? Why are you questioning that?
I am questioning it because of the timeliness. You know, if you are very genuine about the refugees, we have had members of parliament from that side talk about they are going to doctor numbers. Then suddenly the courts want to allow that kind of legislation by birth. You remember, children who have been given birth don't mean infants. There are people who were given birth 18 years ago, and they don't have identifications. So if today I bring in 2 million people and I say these ones were given birth in Kenya, they've not had documentation. How are Kenyans going to verify that kind of
some of these stories we have followed, Jerry. Some of these stories we have followed, and they're so genuine. And most
I agree. I agree.
Yes.
To some extent, I agree. But then again, imagine a member of parliament from that side saying they are going to doctor numbers. How sure are we that as we bring in genuine 100 refugees, 50 other goons from other countries are not going to come in? Thirdly, we have seen the president, how he relates with terrorists from other countries, allowing them to use our State of the Nation, KICC, to plant their issues. Then how again do you tell me we are supposed to be very okay when...
You want to label them terrorists, really?
But in their country, it is known. You know, and it is in the national papers and it is public domain, because what do you mean they are bringing in their guns and everything else, and it is in public domain? We've listened to media analyze that story. Lastly, before I went
Perhaps
there...
the president just wanted to make sure that there is peace that exists.
Peace by guns?
Because you know very well that when your neighbor coughs,
you know, let's be very honest. How would you feel if we heard that our neighboring nation was giving an audience to people who want to change, to bring anarchy to our country in the name of they are just hosting them, you know? And some of these things...
people are confident that they're not in the business of bringing anarchy in.
It is them who are confident, but we as Kenyans can see things differently. Because, in fact, by the virtue of that, the nation was not even given clear stand on where we stood. The fact that it was secretly being done. The fact that the nations back outside there are complaining of the improvement of our president is what brings a lot of question around it. You know, you can have genuine intentions, Linda, but how you do everything and how information is out. You know, when you don't communicate to people, it means whatever information they have the right to say that's true, because you're not giving the correct position. So the fact that Ruto has been doing so much of things, in fact, with our international relations very discreetly, and he's doing them in very weird times of our nation, and the priority list of, you know, we don't have priorities like other nations coming to host their meetings here. I think if you have a chance to listen to people back in Mashinani, they say his priorities are upside down. That is why you are finding that today schools are demonstrating every other day because of lack of enough food, because capitation has gone way down. But remember, as we talk of students going home for demonstrations because of various reasons, and most of it that is much about the funding that they are getting as a school, and therefore the school principals are not able to afford them the normal rations of food. We are in a situation where we have a president and a CS Interior who can afford to Uber around guns in choppers to go deal with demonstrators in the mountain. So if you have fuel enough to Uber around, I don't know if it is Uber around or it is chopper around, to take guns to Moranga and every other place, then you want to tell us that the mountain should be quiet. So my point was, the president is surrounded by people who cannot tell him reality, because I can tell you for one, I had my colleague, my panelist here say that the people of Mount Kenya did not react because we felt it was not okay for us to react about what an individual going home. But I can tell him, we reacted, but we decided to sing songs. We decided that our pain, we are going to put it somewhere in our hearts, whereby come 2027, we can be able to look back and say, we can't be going to the table with somebody, giving him our numbers, giving him our resources, giving him everything it takes to win. Then when he gets to the other side, he takes us for a ride. So what is going to happen in 2027? We as the mountain people, because me, I'm proudly from the mountain. And what is going to happen in 2027? We as the mountain are not going to gamble with our votes. We are not going to go into elections with the bare minimum of just trust. We are going to ensure that if we go to the table, it is through our own party, because the mistake that we did, and
what do you mean our own party?
The mistake that we did.
A person from the mountain.
Yes, the mistake that we did, we as the people from the mountain, and my boss has, Rigathi Gachagua has always said it, is that they trusted William Ruto to join his bus, which is UDA. And when other communities like the likes of Kinamudavadi came with their party, the likes of Weta came with their party, and you also see Baba when he has joined Broad-Based, he went with his party. But for us, the mountain, we just trusted him and said, let us join in his vehicle. Now, this time we have decided we are going to have our own vehicle.